Is it that you haven't met the right person or you're just scared of commitment? Let's talk about commitment issues. You guys know that I talk a lot about what coaching can do for you, shifting your mindset, building your confidence, and actually creating better patterns in dating. Here's what I like to always remind people. Coaching and therapy are not the same thing, but having both is the ultimate duo. Coaching gives you the game plan. It helps you set goals with the tools to move forward. This therapy gives you the healing space to unpack and process what's already happened. One helps you understand the past, and the other helps you design your future. And when you put them together, that is when the real magic happens. That is why I'm so excited to be sponsored by BetterHelp, the world's largest online therapy platform. With BetterHelp, you can talk to licensed therapists from the comfort of your own home through video, phone, or even text. You'll get matched with someone who fits your needs. And if it's not the right fit, you can switch at any time. If you have been thinking about therapy, this is your time to start. For my listeners, you'll get 10% off your first month when you go to betterhelp.com/way2wifey. That's betterhelp.com/way2wifey for 10% off your first month. Welcome back to another episode of Way Too Wifey. I am your host, respectfully Gabby, and in this podcast, we talk all things dating and relationships in this modern day. And if you are new here, hi, I'm Gabby. I'm an online dating and confidence coach where I help you transform from an insecure attachment style to a more secure attachment style. If you want the dream life, guys, everything that you do in your life, whether that be career-wise, relationship-wise, friendship-wise, everything comes down to your attachment style. So if you don't fix what is going on inside of you, if you're mentally overthinking all the time, if you're self-sabotaging everything that's good for you, if you are interested about coaching, hit the link in my bio, book a discovery call. I also have a free video on how to make him obsessed, backed by psychology video, and as well as my book, Way Too Wifey. This is my favorite thing that I've ever done, you guys. I've gotten really good feedback of this book so far. I'm really excited. If you have picked up the book, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. And if you haven't yet, it is now on Amazon. You can do the Kindle version or the hard or soft copy, I guess, paperback copy. But that is pretty much it, guys. Let's get into the episode. I want to first preface this, I guess, because I was talking to my girlfriends the other day and we were talking, sitting, chatting, have a little girly chat. I've been doing some reflecting and I don't know if I have a commitment problem because I feel like with every area of my life, even coming down to like choosing a gym for a year was too much for me. I've been doing like short-term contracts at different gyms because I'm like, I want to switch it up. I don't want to be in the same environment all the time. It like makes me, more motivated when I step into new environments. So committing to a year membership was really difficult for me. And for like a week, I was like, oh my God, am I making the right decision? I'm like, it's just a gym. Why am I overthinking this decision? But I think that like little bit of fear of committing to the wrong thing has played out in every area of my life, not just romantically, because I do think because of my last relationship, mind you, I've been single for over 4 years now. And I think because of my last relationship, knowing from the very start, this was never my person and knowing that like something was off and I was just in it because I wanted a boyfriend at the time, knowing that and then spending 2 years of my life with him, I just never want to commit to the wrong thing. But I also am like, but honestly, if the right thing presented itself to me, I don't think that I would pass that by. So I'm like, maybe I just haven't met the right person. But then I really like sat there and reflected. And I came out with like 6 main overhead topics, break down whether or not it's actually commitment issues or if there's something else going on. If you feel like you are scared to commit, like, is it just because I haven't found the right one? Am I going after the wrong people? What is it? Hopefully this paints the picture and clears your mind a little bit on whether or not it's actually commitment issues or if it's something else. The first one, and I think this one was pretty big for me, is fear of losing your own freedom. And I think this plays out a lot in if you have avoidant attachment styles. I think most of the people that listen to my podcast are either fearful avoidant or anxious attachment. Fearful avoidant being anxious and avoidant, which is something that I struggled with. If you fall a little bit sometimes on the avoidant side, I think it's really easy to have this fear of losing your freedom or losing your independence, feeling smothered by a relationship. I think the reality is I really created this life for myself that I'm so happy and I'm so fulfilled by, that the thought of someone coming in, it would just have to be a really special person that fits into my equation very seamlessly without feeling like I'm being suffocated. The thought of being with someone all the time, endlessly, like the thought of it kind of freaks me out a little bit. But if I met the right person, I think I'd want to be around them quite a bit. If you're someone who struggles with this, you love the idea of a relationship, but you're worried that it will change who you are. And I don't think I'm in this place anymore, by the way. But I think in my last relationships and even dating, you slowly start to lose yourself in the process. But when you're so grounded and so rooted in who you are, you won't lose yourself. You trust yourself enough to stand true to who you are, your routines, your friends, your family. You're not losing yourself in the midst, in the pursuit of a relationship, because you're so rooted in who you are. And I mean, let's be so honest. If you've only entertained toxic relationships or all-consuming codependent relationships, the thought of getting back into a relationship after you've done the healing is like, I don't want any part of that. I'm going to lose myself. I've built this life on my own, and why would I want to go back to where I feel smothered, to where I feel codependent on someone, to where I feel like I can't even express or be who I actually am or do the things that I like to do because of a person? I'm not allowing someone to take that away from me. But I think it takes a certain kind of person to make you feel like you're not losing your independence, but they'll also give you life and give you inspiration to truly step into your purpose. They're going to push you to be your best person. The right person is going to inspire you to step up in your own life. They're not going to take away from you. So keep that in mind. The right person is not going to make you lose your independence. The wrong person, it will feel very smothering. I think another thing, when the last person that I talked to, even though didn't work out, there's one thing that he said that I'm like, damn, this is really good stuff. We were talking and he's like, okay, talk to me about your goals. Like, what do you want in your life? And I'm like, well, I think in the next year, I would like to see myself in a relationship. And he's like, okay, great. What part of you has to die? What identity of yourself has to die in order to step into the version of you that is okay and happy in a relationship? And I'm like, damn, first of all, who's the coach here? But then I'm also like, that's valid, because I feel like even just on my day-to-day, like, am I making enough time to insert someone in my life? Am I opening myself up to the idea and possibility of bringing someone into my space and my home and my life? Am I giving enough space energetically and physically for someone to step into my life? Because if you're not making space for it in your life and you expect someone to just step in, that's not how it happens. You have to be in the right energy in order to attract what you want. So if everything that you do, and comes down to like small things. I was talking to one of my friends and she was dating this guy and she's like, oh my God, he wants to come over tonight. Really like annoyed by this. All I want to do is starfish in my bed by myself. And I was like, single you and you in a relationship cannot coexist. Like, if you want a relationship, if you want the marriage, the kids, the whatever, yes, you need your space sometimes. Okay. But this is something that you've wanted for so long. Yes, you love your freedom and you love your time alone, and that's fine. You can have that. But if you're not welcoming to someone in your life to fill up some of your time, because do you really want a relationship? Because that independence, sometimes you have to be open to rely on someone. Sometimes you have to be open to bend and compromise on some things to be with someone. Like, it doesn't have to be everything, and it shouldn't be the big things that are really important to you, but you have to be willing to bend in certain areas and compromise in certain areas if you truly do want a relationship. If you're all selfish, if you're all independent, if you don't want to consider anyone else's feelings, stay single. That is fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're truly like, yeah, no, I want a relationship, where are you blocking yourself off energetically to where you wouldn't attract those things that you want? The second one is unresolved past traumas. I see this happen a lot with men specifically, but it can also happen with women as well. So I do want to touch upon it. But if you are so scared to open yourself up because of what has happened to, actually, no, I'm going to take that back. I see this happen a lot on both sides. But I think men, it takes them a lot longer, where they get that one really bad heartbreak and years later they still haven't processed it. I think women just take a shorter time to process it because we actually do focus on, okay, let me heal from this. But I do see it happen on both ends of the spectrum. Maybe just plays out in different ways in different timelines. If you're still processing what's happened between you and your ex or situationship or whatever, you might unintentionally be blocking yourself off from what's supposed to be in your future. And maybe you just take this time to heal. But if you're still processing what's happened with your past ex or situationship or whatever, it's going to be really hard to move on and get into the next thing. Like I've seen this happen so many times where people will just go ahead and jump into the next thing. But I think the reality is you're going to compare everything that this person does to your ex. Oh, well, he didn't do this thing, so that must mean that they are doing the same thing that my ex did. It's like, that's not fair to this person. Take the time to yourself to actually sit in the discomfort of what's going on and what has happened to you so that you can actually pick yourself up and move on from it. If you feel stuck, like you don't know how to get over this and how to move on, first of all, book a call with me. You have to close the book on something in order to move forward. This one could really prevent you from actually moving on to the right thing because you're stuck on the past. The next one I think is maybe where I have fallen into in the past. I don't know that I still necessarily do this, but I don't think that I necessarily still do this, but I think perfectionism and thinking to yourself, what if there's something better? Especially living in a city like Dubai and in the past Miami, it's like, well, what if there is someone better looking, richer, more aligned with me? It is so easy to fall into, and especially with the dating culture of today, of people being so disposable and having these dating apps where you're swiping through and everyone, it feels like you're looking through a catalog of people. It's so easy to think that you have more options than you actually do because you're swiping and you're swiping and you're swiping. And you're like, well, if this thing doesn't work out, then I'll always have more options. The paradox of choice is maybe what is keeping you single because no one is going to be the perfect person. There might be a really good fit for you, but maybe you're overlooking that because they have this really small thing that you're not in love with. That really small thing that you're not in love with, if you actually gave that person a chance, like say for instance, he has this little bald spot that you're like, no, I can't overlook it. Like, no, I'm sorry, but like absolutely not. But this was the perfect partner for you, truly in every area of everything. There was just a small little imperfection about him. Get to know someone past their imperfections because sometimes those little imperfections are things that you end up falling in love with down the line, or they just don't bother you or hold as much weight as they do in the beginning when you're looking at something so superficially. If you're so scared of making the wrong choice for you, there's not enough self-trust. You have to trust yourself enough. If you were to give something a chance, that you will know in due time whether or not this person is really meant for you in your life. You'll look at things objectively instead of emotionally, instead of, oh, they have this imperfection, so it couldn't have been. It would have never worked. It would have never been my person. Like, I think I used to do that and nitpick a lot because maybe I wasn't ready for something serious. If you are so scared to make the wrong choice when it comes to dating, you have to have more self-trust that you will make the right choice. Things will play out the way that they need to. You have to have self-trust and know that if you find out that they aren't who they say they are, then great, that's fine. But you trust yourself enough to know when to walk away and that you don't have to stay in something that's not serving you. I used to maybe fall into this a little bit more because I didn't have that self-trust. I know when something isn't right and when it doesn't sit right with me and when my gut is off, when my bodily functions are like not cooperating properly and something in my gut, in my being knows that something isn't right. So trusting your instincts, having more self-trust is what is going to prevent you from falling for the wrong person. But we also work on that in my coaching program, is trusting yourself to make the right choices and what those choices actually look like for you so that you're not stuck with the wrong person and you actually trust yourself to pick the right people. Sometimes it does come down to like timing things. I truly, in Dubai, I've been here a year and I've dated quite a bit here, and I feel like I've not really met someone then I'm like, wow, like they're a really, really, really incredible person and I really need them in my life. But I've met people in other places where I'm like, okay, no, this is a really incredible person. I want them in my life. And I think if you've been on so many dates and you're like, no, I literally just haven't met the right person, I think first of all, get very clear about what it is that you're looking for. And then secondly, if you know that you've met some pretty great people in the past, or there's someone that a guy or something that you follow online that you're like, no, his character is really great. This is the type of person that I would want. Sometimes you have to feel it and you have to see it in order for it to manifest in your life. But I think having a benchmark of what you expect in your life now, say that you've been on so many dates and you're continuously dating around, there's gotta be in that pile of people that you've dated someone that really stood out, that was like really like, maybe there was some things that just didn't quite meet the mark, or like there was a reason why you guys didn't work out. There's got to be a benchmark person that the next time you meet someone that's like this person, you'll commit to, or at least commit to trying with. Because I think when we continuously think, oh, we have so many options and it's this endless loop of options and dates and meeting new people, I think it can be a little bit overwhelming and you're not as clear about what it is that you're actually looking for. You're continuously putting yourself out there, continuously going on dates and meeting new people. But what is it that you're actually looking for that you're not getting from the dates that you're actually going on? So have a benchmark person. And the next time that you meet that benchmark person, commit. I think there's the other flip side. If you're not going on any dates and you're not putting yourself out there, you're not meeting enough people, then maybe it's time to start doing that. But I think if you're on the other side of the spectrum and you're like, I'm meeting so many people, I'm having so many matches online, I'm putting myself out there, I'm continuously going on dates, and you're just not meeting anyone that's matching up with your expectations, get clear on what those expectations are, and then commit to the first person, and then commit to trying with the first person who somewhat fits into that mold. I think another really big one is the fear of vulnerability. Guys, if I'm being honest, I think a lot of people have this without even like wanting to bring that up or admit this. But I think a lot of people have a fear of opening themselves up and fully being seen because they're scared of the hurt that might come along with that. Guys, commitment actually means opening up to someone fully, and that can feel very scary. Okay, it can feel like you're really exposing yourself, you're exposing your triggers. And I talk about this in past episodes of like healthy relationships can be the most triggering relationships, not in a negative way where they're like yelling at you or they're being toxic, but in ways that it's going to actually expose you. It's going to expose your vulnerabilities, your insecurities, it literally is opening you up to heal the last bits that you need to heal inside of a relationship. And that can be really scary, and that could be like, well, that's a lot of work, and a lot of people don't want to put in that work. So they'll end up settling for situationships or things that aren't really serving them because it's easier. You don't have to be as vulnerable. You're still getting that high of like meeting someone, getting to know someone, dating someone, but are you fully opening up to this person and being real and honest and truthful with this person to the degree of like really exposing yourself? Usually not. Situationships are like very surface level. Yeah, but you might have great conversation. Yeah, you might be intimate with this person. Yeah, you might be spending a lot of time with this person and it feels fun and light and exciting and cool. But let's be so honest, if you guys don't want the same things, I think you know at the end of the day how it's going to end. And you're okay with it because you don't actually want to expose yourself. It's like, okay, well, I'm cool with being in the situationship because it is surface level, but I'm still getting that high of having feelings for someone. I'm cool with sitting in this distraction because I know that emotionally I'm not willing to fully commit to something that is going to be real and expose the parts of me that I'm not ready to expose yet. I think that's a really big one that people do to self-protect against the emotional risks that are involved. Another one being timing and life priorities. I think this one really, for the past, I don't know, like 3 of the 4 years that I've been single and maybe dating, but maybe not, 3 years out of the 4, I think timing has been a really big thing for me because I've not been settled or nor has it been a priority in my life. I think the biggest priority of my life is figuring out, where do I want to settle down? What do I want to do with my life? How is my career going to like pan out? I have to focus on getting myself to feel like a whole person in a place where I feel settled and stable. Then I'll open myself up. That doesn't necessarily have to be a thing, but I think because I was traveling around quite a bit, because I wasn't really settled in a place, I wasn't really fully opening myself up to the idea, because I think, and I could be wrong, not that I wasn't open to it, but it wasn't a priority of mine. Because I've met so many people in the years that I was just traveling solo and moving around and like figuring out where I wanted to live. The reality is, what could I have met someone and settled down where they're at and like had a great time? Yes, that is a possibility that could have happened. But I think the reality is, and the bigger possibility is, that me moving around kind of prevented me from actually settling down, or like being open fully to settling down. Because I meet someone and maybe I didn't want to stay, or I couldn't stay in that country because visa processing and whatever. So I meet someone and then then we fall in love, and then we couldn't stay together because like a visa or whatever the case is. Like, I don't want to fall into that bucket either. So I think, yes, I was open to the possibility if I truly met someone that was like aligned with like who I am, what I'm looking for and whatever. But the bigger reality is that it probably wouldn't work long term. So timing does play a big factor. And I think you have to feel settled and at peace within yourself to bring in the right type of person that is going to also come in with peace and also going to provide this like stability emotionally, physically, financially, all of the things. To me, I think that's the better thing. Now that I've reached a place where I am settled, I'm at peace. So, well, my life is a little chaotic right now, I'm going to be honest. But I think when you're settled and at peace within yourself, that's really when the right person steps in. So sometimes timing does play a role in it, and sometimes you just haven't met the right person. But be real with yourself. Are you the one preventing it from happening? Or is it that it really is like, no, I need to focus on myself because I can't bring someone into this mess. I can't bring someone into this chaos because I have a lot of figuring out to do in my own life. So be real with yourself. Is it that, or are you really pushing away some great people that could potentially be a good fit in your life? The last one, I think, is one of the more important, and we kind of touched upon this, but unclear values or identity. If you don't know who you are, what you want, what you're looking for, the type of person that you want, not physically, because I think physically is when you're dating, I think, and you're a little bit younger, you're a little bit more immature, looks play a massive factor. Like, oh, well, this person doesn't look the way that I want them to look, so like it can't be my person. That's how I used to date. I think the older you get, and then it becomes like, okay, well, can this person bring me the stability, and like, does this person have stability, whatever, in their life? And then I used to date like that, like, does this person have stability? But when you're dating as a full person, I know who I am, I know what I'm looking for, I know the type of person I want in my life, you start dating based on someone's character more than anything. I think your character is going to show so much about a person. You want the same things. You want to have the same lifestyle where you guys are both wanting the same thing out of life. But reality is, if you don't know who you are, I think that should be the place that you start. I've done this so many times where I didn't know who I was. And I was talking about this with my friend. I think the less you know about yourself, the more willing you are to jump into a relationship that is not for you, because you're looking for your identity through someone else. You want to pour into them, into their goals, into their dreams, and be their accessory in life because you have failed to find your own identity. Truly, when I have stepped into my purpose and I'm like, no, this is who I am, this is what I want, that's when things start to change, and the type of people that you're attracting also start to change, because like attracts like. So if you're dating from a place of you don't know who you are, you don't know what you value, you're going to attract people who are going to take from you. Know that you're in a position where you will pour all of your your heart and soul into this person, and they will take and take and take until you are fed up and you can't do it anymore. Whereas I feel like once you've done the healing, once you've worked through it and you become a full person, you're not willing to put up with that. You're not willing to just be someone's side character. You are the main character in your own life. And if someone wants to be your co-star, great. If someone wants to lift you up and be someone behind the scenes that helps you get to where you're going, and they want to like pour into you, but also they're doing their own thing and they're living their own life, then great. That is those are the dynamics that actually work. It's not when one or both of you are lacking identity. I think that's when things feel rushed. It's because you're not fully developed as a person, and sometimes you need to learn those lessons and go through those bits. I know I did. I went through traumatic relationship experiences because I didn't know who I was, and I wanted to pour myself into men because I felt like at least I would have some kind of identity from them. But if you're living a life that is contradicting to what you want, say you really want the really nice guy who is going to treat you right and he's, successful, but you're going out to these like low life bars that people go to every single weekend, that it's the same faces, the same F-boys that keep coming up to you, and you're like, well, there's no good guys out there. No, you're just going to the wrong places. You're putting yourself in the wrong environment. The guy that's successful and gonna treat you right isn't gonna go out to those bars. That's not who he is as a person. He's gonna be in bed because he knows that he has a gym session in the morning. He's gonna be in bed because he knows that he has to get up and work in the morning, and he's at home, he's at the gym, he's at the nicer restaurants. He's not out at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday night at a dive bar with his boys. I'm sorry, but that's not the quality men. Like, if that's where you're going and you're expecting to find a good guy, that is not where you're going to find your husband. Okay. Do it if you want to have fun. By all means, go to the places if you're just trying to have fun with your girls, but be realistic. Is this where you're going to find your husband? Probably not. So get so clear on who you are and what you're looking for, your values, what you will not settle for, what you won't stand, and what you're really, really looking for character-wise in a person. Become the opposite of that, and that is when the right person will step in. And if you're scared of committing because you're scared that there's going to be something better, listen, there's always going to be someone richer, hotter, more successful, more doing better. The grass is green where you water it. If you're so scared to pour into the wrong person, trust yourself enough to know that the wrong person will weed themselves out of your life anyway. And trust yourself to know that you will pick yourself up if you get to that point. If you're really, truly scared to commit, you have to trust yourself a little bit more. Trust yourself to know that you are making the right decision for you. And if it's not the right decision, guess what? There is ways out of everything. Like for my gym instance, there's a way to get out of a gym contract, okay? There's a way to get out of a relationship. There's a way to get out of a country if I don't like being here. There's a way to get out of your city if you want to leave. There is ways out of everything. If you're so scared to make the wrong choice, know that there is no wrong choices. The wrong choice is not making a choice at all. That's what's keeping you stuck, is when you refuse to make any decisions at all. It is so much better when you pick a lane and you stick in it and you ride it out until it's no longer working for you. Yes, maybe you could have experienced a better ride on the other direction, but you chose and you stuck. And I think when you're a little bit more decisive about the decisions that you're making for your life, that's when you allow life to actually play out. It's when you're so stuck in making a decision at all, like, should I do this or should I do this? Know that there's no wrong decisions. If you decide to go left and your heart was like, oh my God, wait, no, we need to go right, you can still divert and make a U-turn, go back around and take the other direction. There's no wrong decisions. It's only a redirection. If it's not right for you, you will find out very quick, and you will trust yourself enough to get yourself back on track. But that is it for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you got some kind of value out of it. And if you have, leave that 5-star rating, hit the thumbs up, turn on your bell notifications so you'll never miss another episode, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all next Tuesday.